We have this panel will be Summer Johnson, Janet Rozay, Melissa Medina, Alexis Lizzie, Philip Sevilla, and Cindy Caudle, and I may have messed that up. Y'all can have a seat. And then the next group to be on standby will be Elizabeth Odom, Ed Scruggs, Ryan Wall, Jordan Reed, Carmen Ochoa, Dorothea Wallace. And Ms. Johnson, are you here? Summer Johnson, you may proceed, ma'am.
Thank you so much for your patience. My name is Summer Johnson, and I am testifying in favor of SB1. I am here to represent myself and the African American women in Texas. I had an abortion at the age of 16 at nearly 20 weeks pregnant. I went through a painful 2-day procedure. Day 1, I was sent home with seaweed sticks inserted into my cervix to cause me to contract for a child I would not get to hold. The next day, I was taken to a late-term abortion clinic to complete the procedure. I was not introduced to the abortionist, nor did I sit down to have a detailed one-on-one session regarding my abortion procedure. The first time I met my abortionist was when I entered the room to begin the final procedure. The abortionist began to suck my baby out of me. This was the worst pain I've ever experienced in my life. It felt as though every organ in my body was being pulled out of me. I was screaming and kicking while the medical attendants aggressively held me down, saying to me, "Quiet, be still, this is your decision." After the procedure was over, I recalled getting up from the bed feeling completely numb. I did not receive any aftercare. Not too long after, I had to be rushed to the emergency due to severe cramping. When a doctor examined me, remains of my baby's bones were stuck in my cervix, and I had a severe infection. I believe that if a bill like SB1 was in place when I had my abortion, I would have received better care. I may have made different decisions if I was given the courtesy of knowing the complete truth about abortion, including all physical and emotional side effects. Many women in general, but especially minorities, have experienced similar stories such as mine that are not recorded because of the lack of follow-up. The reality is, in the abortion industry, there is no real doctor-patient relationship. Though my abortion was
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Janet Rozay.
Hi. Greetings. My name is Janet Rozay. I live in Austin, Texas. I'm here today to protest the passage of SB1. This bill is crafted to undermine the rights of Texas women. This bill will make it next to impossible for the average woman to get a safe, legal abortion in a facility that is within a reasonable driving distance. This bill could endanger the health of Texas women by forcing them to turn to unsafe methods in order to attain an abortion. I am a wife, a mother, a grandmother. If my daughter, granddaughter, or friend wanted to have an abortion for any reason, I would not hesitate to help, support, and guide her through this procedure. Women have been aborting unwanted fetuses since ancient times. Women will continue to seek this procedure as long as there is a need. Our bodies belong to ourselves. We are entitled to determine our future, and abortion is not to be taken lightly. It is not merely a method of birth control. Unforeseen circumstances beyond a woman's control may compel a woman to seek to terminate a pregnancy, which is right under federal law. No state may deprive any U.S. citizen of her rights established by the Supreme Court of our land. The state legislature does not have the authority to deny or limit our rights established by federal law. The passage of SB1 would force the rights of many Texas women to bear children against their will. This is a clear violation of women's rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. As Americans, we have a responsibility to care for our fellow citizens rather than judge or deny other people's freedom simply because we do not agree with their politics or their religious view. We need to lead by example to uphold the rights of all our citizens. Please vote against SB 1. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Benita, Melissa?
Melissa Medina, yes. Good afternoon. My name is Melissa Medina, and I am in favor of Senate Bill 1. I'm here to speak on behalf of myself as a mother and as a Latina residing in Dallas, Texas, and I'm also speaking on behalf of the Back to Life movement. It's a pro-life prayer and action movement dedicated to amplifying the young minority female voice in the abortion debate, with the goal of protecting and defending the rights and well-being of women and children within our nation. As a young Latina, I am a part of one of the largest growing demographics within the United States, a demographic that is growing at an even faster rate within the state of Texas. From its inception, the abortion industry has targeted minorities, strategically placing its abortion clinics in the heart of our communities. If the abortion industry is going to target our women, then the voices of our women must be heard. For decades, our women have gone to these clinics seeking medical attention, but instead, many have suffered at the mercy of negligent personnel, unacceptable practices, and unsanitary conditions found within these facilities. Facilities that are established, funded, and overseen by the multi-billion-dollar abortion industry. As confirmed by the many personal testimonies from post-abortive women heard within these halls, making abortion legal in our nation did not make it safe. To this day, the abortion industry remains unregulated and has used its immunity to exploit and wound women and children. The state of Texas has a responsibility and a great opportunity through the provisions of Senate Bill 1 to protect its constituents from the dangers stemming from this unregulated industry. By making the minimum standards of care for abortion facilities equivalent to that of ambulatory surgery centers, Senate Bill 1 would effectively set in place reasonable safeguards for Texas women that are well overdue. A vote in favor of Senate Bill 1 is a vote in favor of protecting and defending the rights and well-being of Texas women. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Medina. Alexis Lizzie?
Thank you to the committee for allowing me time to speak about this bill. My name is Alexis Lizzie. I'm a resident of Fort Worth, and my state senator is Wendy Davis. I'm here to represent myself. I'm here to speak in opposition to Senate Bill 1. Like most Texans, my stance on abortion is not located at a far end of the spectrum, but rather somewhere in the middle. Also, like most Texans, I find some aspects of this bill far less obtrusive than others. I cannot, however, accept the overall effect of this bill, which is to further limit access to those who can least afford it. I know it's difficult for many members of this body to accept this, but there are very good reasons why women have abortions in Texas. In fact, I have personally benefited from my mother's right to choose. When I was 6 months old, my brother was not yet 2, and my mother unexpectedly became pregnant for a third time. My parents were already struggling emotionally and financially to provide for their rapidly expanding family, and my mother made the decision to focus on the 2 babies she already had. I don't doubt, like many of the other stories that we've heard today, that this was an agonizing choice for her, and it's one that I hope to never make myself. But it's important that abortion remain a choice for Texas women. There's a lot of talk about liberty in this debate, and the fact is, liberty is not a guarantee of a happy outcome, and I think we've heard a lot about that today. But the fact is, liberty is a guarantee of the right to decide for yourself and to have personal autonomy and to be a full functioning member of this society. And I ask you, based on that, to please vote against SB 1.
Thank you, Ms. Lizzie. Would you like to introduce your 2 beautiful daughters?
Absolutely, and I just want to say that I owe them buckets of ice cream for staying with me all day.
Well, could you bring us all some? We'd like some buckets of ice cream.
This is Tallulah, she's 8, and this is Emma, she's 4.
Well, welcome to the Senate.
Thank you.
Glad to have you all. All right, Philip Sevilla?
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Phil Sevilla. I'm the president of Texas Leadership Coalition, which is an educational nonprofit organization in San Antonio. Prior to this position, I was executive director for a crisis pregnancy center and a Catholic pro-life ministry in Albuquerque, New Mexico. In 1973, Supreme Court Justice Harry Blackmun, who wrote the majority opinion for Roe v. Wade, doubted that there was a clear understanding then concerning the bright line pertaining to the unborn child's viability. 40 years later, Thanks to the advancements in human embryology, obstetrics, ultrasound imaging, and other technologies, we now have case histories of babies who have successfully survived premature births as early as 20 weeks. A study of teenagers who were born between 20 and 23 weeks reported they view their health-related quality of life is quite satisfactory. I passed out my testimony with active links to everything that I've documented here and what I'm talking about today. SB1 and HB2 will protect the health and safety of many lives from the bloody instruments and barbaric acts of abortionists like Kermit Gosnell of Philadelphia, recently sentenced to life without parole, and Douglas Carpin of Houston, under investigation for similar barbarous and criminal acts. On May 13th, 3 of Carpin's former employees spoke out as eyewitnesses of abortionist Carpin's heinous crimes against humanity. Babies in Carpin's facilities were born alive, their stomachs heaving. Babies' necks were twisted off with bare hands. Pictures were provided by the eyewitnesses. Active links to those pictures are in your documentation. Some babies were so large, one of the eyewitnesses said it would take an hour to complete the abortion, the floor drenched in blood. A breech baby was partially delivered with his toes moving. The abortionist Carpin took an instrument with claws to crush the baby's head. This is abortion, folks, and this is what this bill is going to stop.
Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
testimony, sir. And we have Cindy Caudle. Did I get it?
Howdy, my name is Cindy Caudle, and I am from Pasadena, Dina, Texas. I am a fifth-generation Texan, and I am here to speak against this bill. I was here 40 years ago on these very steps with my mother, who was wearing this awesome hat that I brought with me, and I carried the sign then. Last week I came and I wore orange. I'm an Aggie. Do you know how hard it is for me to wear orange? I will wear it again. I bought me some more. I will be back. One of the tenets of this bill would require that all abortions be performed in ASCs. We know, and now you know, that those new requirements would force many of those clinics to close because they wouldn't be able to afford the upgrades, although there is no data showing that these upgrades are necessary. One company, however, will see a huge profit gain, and that is the United Surgical Partners International based in Addison, Texas. Their Vice President of Government Affairs is Milla Perry Jones, the governor's sister. She is also on the board of the Texas Ambulatory Surgical Center Society. And here's an interesting question. Does that mean that the existing other 420 ambulatory surgical centers in Texas will now be able to begin performing these procedures? Because the demand for the procedure is not going to go away. It's just going to be limited to only the white wealthy women that can afford it. You're still going to take it away and punish the ones that live in the other areas. So as a voting Texan and a very proud Texan, I'm here to tell you that I resent the shenanigans, absolutely. I resent that my great state is being manipulated and used as a tool for a national special specialty group, and a special interest group, and it infuriates me. I'm from Texas. I don't care that Rick Perry wants to be president. I don't care what the National Right to Life or Mike Huckabee wants. I'm from Texas, and you deserve, and I deserve the respect of this Senate to understand that that's my vote, my state.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, that concludes this panel, and we'll move on to the next panel. This is